to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would remain standing, please. The Reverend Bruce Hunt will give our invocation tonight.
Let's pray. God, our hearts are heavy and we are saddened by the loss of our city. God, we pray that you just give the families of Levon and Gloria King peace and your comfort tonight. And God, we just stop and we pause and give them a moment of silence. God, we just pray that they'll always be remembered as the servants that they were, not only to the city, but also to their church, Allen Park Presbyterian. God, we just pray that you give their families peace and your comfort. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. The clerk would call the roll while I try to climb in the saddle here.
All right. Councilman Templin.
Present.
Councilman Cisco.
Present.
Councilman DeGiulio is asked to be excused. Councilwoman Gavarrecki.
Present.
Councilman Rourke.
Here.
Madam Pro Tem McLeod.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor Mategas.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Ask for a motion for approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting, July 26, 2016.
Motion.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Cisco, supported by Councilwoman Gavarrecki.
Doesn't someone down
Are there any corrections, additions, or changes to the motion or to the meeting? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Approval of the minutes for the July 12, 2016 minute. Motion, please.
Motion.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has moved. Do I have a second?
Support.
Moved by Councilman Templin. Is there any discussion, changes, corrections, additions? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you again. Organizational business, city administrators, operational updates, reports, documents, submissions.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. If you would please allow me to yield a couple seconds, minutes to DPS Director Terry Kerr. He's going to give a short update on the DPS and Water Department.
Mayor, Council, as you know, beginning of the month, we had a severe windstorm go through on the south end of town. And we had to remove 22 trees, over 275 brush piles, 500 individual complaints, and we had to sweep her out for 2 additional weeks. During that time, the Water Department has had 13 breaks since the beginning of the month, which brings the total up to 77 for the year. Both departments have done an outstanding job this month, considering the heat and all the emergencies that went on.
Thank you, Terry. Any questions from the director?
I just want to say thank you, because they came and cleaned up everything in front of our house, my mom's house, and the neighborhood. They were working hard in it, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. For the rest of my report, the street improvement millage work continues over on Niver between Inglewood and Wick. They poured both sides of the street between Inglewood and Leslie. They did that a pour this morning, and early this afternoon we were over inspecting it, and it looked pretty good. We have no experience in inspecting concrete, but myself and Bob go over there. We look important, and that's about it. We try to stay out of the sun, get sunburned, as we both have solar panels up there. So they poured both sides there. They've also poured the west side of of Niver between Leslie and Wick. They're completing the storm drain on the east side, and they should be pouring probably. I'm going to guess probably middle to later next week. And then some great news is the contractor is going to be starting on Shenandoah next Tuesday.
Great.
Mike, we don't have anything for election over that area, though. We're good on that. Okay,
Nope.
and we'll get.
Thinking real quick, yeah.
And Mike had just mentioned that Church is a voting precinct, so we'll work with the contractor to make sure we get access, proper access to the parking lot for the voters. Work also continues on the HVAC replacement project at the fire station. I don't think that can get done quick enough. I know it's pretty hot over there, but the guys, the chief, have been handling it pretty well. So I'm going to guess probably another couple weeks is what I've seemed to understand that. The bids for the exhaust removal system, this is the grant that the chief was able to get for the city, $65,000. Those bids were open last Thursday, and the bid award recommendation will be on the August 9th council meeting agenda. That item will not need to go to our tab for approval because it'll be less than the $250,000, so they'll be able to get started soon thereafter. The library has their Friday nights on the patio program, and that is continuing through the month of August. And then Parks and Recreation reports back that back by popular demand. This was a very well-attended event. The Allen Park Senior Bus Trip will be returning to Eastern Market and Vivio's on Tuesday, August 9th. The cost is $5, and contact the Parks and Recreation office to reserve a spot. On the 23rd, they're going to be heading to Meadowbrook, and I believe that's going to be the Meadowbrook House and Grounds out in, I think that's Rochester area. The Recreation Department also took delivery of their two vehicles last week that were approved at the last council meeting. They got a Transit 150 cargo van and an F-250 pickup truck. Pat was able to, once the council approved, he made contact with the gentleman at Gorno Ford and was going to place the order for the vehicles. He was actually able to garner a better deal for the city and take possession of, or take delivery of those vehicles within a week as opposed to a couple of months, because he was able to take stock off the sales parking lot. Additionally, the F-250 was not what he initially was looking at. It was an F-150. The 250 is obviously a better truck. It's a bigger truck as well, and I think it'll be well worthwhile to have that vehicle to withstand any the length of time that we unfortunately have to keep vehicles in some cases here. So I got to commend Pat for making the phone call and visiting with Gorno Ford to garner an even better deal for the city than even what the My Deal program was going to offer. The Allen Road pavement striping in the downtown area was partially done. They're going to notify us tomorrow if they'll be back for this weekend. They've had some issues with the mixture. I don't know what that means for what they put down already. I'll follow up with Bruce in the morning on that, but we'll find out and see where we're at. But that is a warranted product as well. So, the Warwick and Arlington water main replacement bids are will be open on August 11th. With an award recommendation for August 23rd council meeting. And then the SCADA monitoring system, which is the Allen Park pump station to monitor the pump stations, that bid is open on August 25th, and that award recommendation will be going to the council meeting on September 13th. This is where we have a little bit of a problem. I've talked to the engineer. We're going to need to kind of tie up our bids when we feel they're going to be over $250,000, which both these are likely to exceed. Definitely the water main. SCADA, I'm not too sure of. It's going to be close. But in those cases, we're going to need to make sure that we tie those up, get them to one council meeting, because the RTAP's going to have to prove anything over the $250,000 level. So we'll work on that for the future. But in this case, that RTAP meeting will have to be after the September 13th council meeting. As Bruce reported last meeting, the Watson Street Pump Station is set to start work in August, and that's the rebuild of that pump station at in the Kennedy sub. And then finally, the Water Department will be flushing hydrants off Ecorse Road. And Amanda Wirtz, who is the new Deputy Finance Director that was appointed last council meeting, she'll be starting on August 1st.
Okay. We have a motion to accept and file the updates, reports, document submissions. Motion by Councilman Rourke.
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Gavricki. Are there any questions of the city administrator?
I have some questions,
Councilman Cisco.
and obviously some of it not pertaining to what his report is, but a little bit outside the report is, I just wanted to say that it looks like the garbage cans are being put in the right place, except for the compost cans. They're being put in the streets, so that's not the fault of any resident, and I just wanted to say that. I know we've talked about that before, but
Yeah, we noticed that today on our, after lunch, we stopped at Niver, we took a tour, we were on a tour of the city. I noticed that on Kolb, we turned on Kolb, and all the cans were on the easement where they're supposed to be, with the exception of probably about a half dozen yard waste containers. So we'll be working with Advanced Disposal on that aspect.
Okay, but other than that, I drove around the city today and everything looked pretty good at this point. Do we have any information, is there anything going on about Reek Road? As we've brought up in the past about maybe people speeding and stuff, have we come to any kind of conclusion about what we might do about that?
I will follow up with Bruce on the report and where he was looking, but I know the chief has sent the cars over at various times. We have ticketed a number of people, and I think it was not a large number, but there has been some speeding going on over there, so. And they were residents too, so.
Must be new residents.
Not too sure.
And any suggestions about putting in a couple extra stop signs there? Is that being taken in consideration or seriously or
Yeah, we'll
not?
follow up with the engineer on that, as well as, and that has to be also through the police department on that. The main issue on the stop signs is the offsetting. That becomes a bit of an issue on a road with of that magnitude.
Okay. And so I have another question about, and I found this out at the last meeting about a month ago, we hired, council gave approval to hire an architect. And as of the last time I talked to the architect, he did not have a signed contract as of yet. Is that something that's going to happen shortly?
Yeah, I'll follow up on that too.
Okay, and then there's another issue, and as I looked through the Whitehall Group report that we had, one of the things they talk about is succession planning. And I believe we've already started to fulfill that with our finance director and our assistant finance director. And I know we had talked one time about a deputy city administrator that would probably take over the HR duties that you now have. That's, you know, I think you have a lot of duties at this point. So the succession planning, are we going to look into deputy city administrator, or is that not on the table?
At this point, I would probably put it on hold. We're working through some other issues. The payroll person has actually been helping out quite a bit on some HR stuff with us. I guess it's going to be more of a discussion for council, maybe in a work session or something on that front.
Right, and I just say that because our charter calls for a separate HR person. That is what our charter calls for, and I understand where we're at right now, so I'm not calling for a separation of a separate HR person, but that report also identifies a separate human resources person per our charter.
Yeah, part of my concern also is that we don't get too administratively top-heavy. So I think that's why we need to have council kind of maybe sit down and look at those options out there.
Okay, but the charter does call for it. I just want to say that. And some time ago, I had mentioned looking into having our municipal people go through some training of a live shooter. Has that been looked at or followed up on at all?
That has
Live
not
shooter
occurred yet.
training?
Not at the city hall level yet.
Is that going to happen? Or is that something else that's not going to
And I
happen?
do apologize, Councilman. I've been out of town for a couple days at the end of the last couple weeks, so my weeks have been limited with just some vacation. So once
Can I go
I'm back now.
All right, so can I go back to succession planning then? After that. And ordinance enforcement. I know we had given some time ago, some of the auto companies, auto repair places that have a lot of cars that don't have license plates, which per ordinance, we have to have license plates on our cars. And I think we gave everybody, was it 90 days to clean that up? 60 days or 90 days?
Councilman, I'm not certain. I don't have the paperwork in front of me.
Okay, I'm just wanting to know where.
If you'd called, I would have been prepared for that. I apologize.
I'm just wanting to know where we are with that. And I bring it up not for an exact answer, but to bring it up to let you know that that is on my radar anyway. And has Ken Summerly gone to full-time yet?
Yeah, he started full-time on July 1st.
Okay, that's a good thing. All right, that would be it for me. Thank you.
Any other questions by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. Consent agenda has 2 items.
Mayor? Citizens' comments.
Oh, public comment. We're going to get this meeting over by 6:30. Public comment. Just remember that on the back of the agendas was the rules of decorum, and hope you'll be aware of them as you speak tonight, as well as the council. Yes.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. Beautiful day. I know I wasn't at the last meeting. I know you guys all missed me. I want to thank you all for thanking the people that worked at back of Allen Park. That I really enjoyed doing that. It was a very good day. I got to really learn and saw a lot of new faces and meet a lot of new people. And we did an excellent job there. And I know we saved our city a lot of money. And we're going to be doing another park in October, my understanding is. And when we do that, hopefully we have a good turnout like we did. And maybe some of the residents that are going to be using that park right in the vicinity will be there to give us a hand. But boy, if some of us turn out again, we know exactly what to do. With that says, Mr. Mayor, through the chair, and Mr. Kibbe, at 9010 Park, there's one big dead tree. I noticed that a lot of bark is off of it now. It's a humongous tree. I'd like to, someone go, please take a look at it. And when you're in the same vicinity, approximately about a block before that tree, the south side, the south end of that tree, there's 2 more dead trees in another house. Those are smaller trees. Now this tree I'm talking about is a quite large tree. And if we get a high wind, I don't know what it's going to do. It's going to do some damage. It's going to really do some damage to the person's house. So, you know, so if you can really take a good look at that, that would be one of the trees that I would highly recommend to get knocked down. With that said, have a wonderful day. And Angelo DiGiulio's in the hospital right now. I wish him a speedy recovery. Thank you very much.
I haven't been here before, but my name's Fred Harshberg. I live on Myers in Allen Park. And we got a nuisance with the police department. It's not the police department's fault, but a lot of our police department resources that go to a house because a lady drinks all the time and she has issues. And the fire department's always there with rescue squads all the time. This has been going on for a year now. And each time the police come there, sometimes it's 4 times a weekend they're there. And they, you know, it's just dumb why this is keep going on for almost a year and a half, 2 years, ever since she's moved in there. And I think it's a lot of resource for our police department, fire department to be there all the time, babysitting this woman that lives there. She's got a drinking problem. And nobody can get her help. And I don't know how to get the issue taken care of for this lady. You know, I just don't know what to do about it. That's why I come down here and see if there's something that could be done about this or not. And the police are always there. You know, it makes the neighborhood look better. We're right by Arby's. people come in our city, and they always see these 4 or 5 police cars there all the time, and this is my neighbor here.
I actually live right next door. That's actually my cousin. She's been out there. I've watched her take her pants down and pee in the middle of the floor. I'm right in the middle of the grass. I have an 8-year-old son and a 13-year-old daughter. She comes out wrapped in a blanket. I've seen her stand out on her porch with no clothes on. The police call multiple times. They said there's nothing they can do because of she's on no property. But this continues and continues to happen. Last weekend, they were out there 5 days in a row. Police were at the house. And this continues. I've been at the house for a year, and sometimes every other day. And there's nothing ever, she's never taken away to jail. Nothing is never goes on, and I don't know what to do. I'm at a loss. You know, I have there's little kids down the block. It just continues and continues and continues, and I don't know where to go from here, you know.
Does she have any family members closer than you?
Yeah, but nobody seems to do anything. You know, she has her mother, but her mother's like, I don't want to do it. Everybody's afraid to do anything. Well, I'm not afraid, and you know, I'll call at the minute, but there's nothing seems to ever get done. You know, I mean, I've watched her cuss out the police. I've called them every filthy name that you can imagine, and my kids are at home and they watch it. She was beating up her roommate in her bra and underwear. And outside, while my 8-year-old's looking out the door, watching this go on, and I don't know what else. I don't know where to turn. This is something where I'm gonna have to look at moving for the kids, but they're not only my kids. There's other kids down the whole block. They play outside all the time, and she yells at the top of her lungs. The fire department. I mean, your resources for the police and the fire are constantly there, constantly. When I say every other day, I'm not kidding, every other day. I mean, I wish I would have the reports on hand, but the police officers know how many times they've been out there. They know her by name. It's a pretty occurrence. It's out around Meyer, right behind Arby's, and it's out all the time.
You know what I would suggest is to call the Taylor Department of Social Services. It's not the city of Taylor. It's the County Department of Social Services, or the state. But call that and ask them what can be done, because normally in these cases, they are the people that would move to go to court to see if guardian and conservators are warranted for the person that they're mental and physical, Department of Social Services. Mr. Katie's back there, he can give you the number.
I'm sure I've met them all. They've been next.
No, he's the CFO, he's not.
Oh, okay.
Older or younger woman?
Okay, I just wanted to.
How old, he's asking how old she is.
She's 32.
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen, because if the police, I mean, it isn't something for us to hold her
No.
in a detox for, I mean, what you're describing is a person that's not able to help herself at this point, so that putting her in jail is not gonna be an answer for you.
No, she needs to get help.
I just think
I think that's what has to be done, gentlemen.
If she went to jail, maybe a judge could order her alcohol monitoring on a tether or something to stop it, and it would go farther, but it's nothing.
No.
It's like I'm stuck, you know, on a bad dream.
No, the judge isn't gonna do that, I don't think, because I think all he's gonna do is look at the charges that she's intoxicated and public and disorderly and punish her for that.
Well, they just got in trouble for drinking in Wyandotte at her boyfriend's house, and they slapped her on the wrist, told her no more drinking, but no monitoring.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you that I think that there's where you have to go to
Okay.
to get her real help.
Do they have to send all these police cars there, and they're there for an hour sometimes, or, you know?
Well, our cars are single cars, and generally on a domestic disturbance, they will send a backup car.
Oh, okay. Sometimes there's 4 of them out there, and then she had a.
Well, I don't know about that, but
That was moving out, and they sat there until he moved out. He was there almost half the
Well,
day, you know?
let's try with that, and if you have a problem, then if you'd call the mayor's office, we'll see what else we might do.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Charles Blown, Champaign. It's good to be back. Been gone for a couple months. First off, to make note, if we can talk to Wayne County about when we're talking about roads and stuff like that, on Allen, Roosevelt, and Ecorse, that middle whole section's getting crumbly and stuff like that. Just put point of on a list or something to try to get that section fixed. Same with Allen and Wick, towards by that flowers shop area. It's getting worse with crumbly roads and stuff. But speaking of roads, the roads being fixed from that proposal look amazing. Garfield, I'm so glad that went through. It's in a positive direction towards the city moving forward, and I can't wait to see how all the other streets are going to look. Glad to see that there's a huge sign up in the front of the old city hall for sale. Again, positive direction of trying to move forward. And I am so glad to see now be able to, for WOW Cable, that the channel is now working. I'm glad for that. I know a couple people throughout a couple months have come up and asked me when it's getting fixed and stuff, so I'm glad to see that it's working now. Same with the YouTube channels, and those, it's an excellent source of trying to keep connecting to our city government. Next week, make sure you go vote on the 2nd. It only takes 5 minutes. Keep me busy.
2 weeks, right? Oh,
Next week.
It is?
August 2nd. Please keep supporting the city events. I wasn't able to make it to the Unity Walk and stuff, but I know I went last year and it was a fantastic event. And the park on Bacabella that Ray mentioned looks fantastic. All these positive things happening in Allen Park, and I'm glad we keep moving the city forward. I want to just thank each and every one of you for running last year. It's like, I know my personal life, things changed and all that stuff, and I'm glad that we have wonderful leaders, great department heads, and just keep supporting them. They're doing their best, I know. And then to the residents, keep respecting your leaders, and just keep staying positive, because this job, I can tell, is not the easiest thing to do, but I just want to thank for all the time you guys have been doing so far the last 7 months since the last with the last election. Just keep staying positive, and thank you for all you guys do.
Evening, Mayor and Council, Lieutenant Egan, Allen Park Police Department. I'm the coordinator for our CERT team. Just wanted to give you a couple quick updates. First of all, our CERT team was deployed at the Marathon explosion, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning a few weeks ago. And what we did is we assisted people who were displaced because we had to evacuate. Intercity Baptist opened up their facility, so we had quite a few CERT members that came out at that early hour and helped. This is our 3rd year that we've been together with Melvindale. We started ours, and so far we haven't had to have the city give us any money, or Melvindale's. And the way we were able to accomplish it is we've had some fundraisers. They've been pretty successful. We bought equipment, fixed our truck, supplies and training, things like that. We're going to be doing 2 CERT fundraisers this year. One is right after both street fairs at the Corner Bar in Allen Park. It's called the Totally Awesome 80s, I guess. Mega 80s is playing Friday night, so we went with that theme. We have a Prince and a Rod Stewart impersonator who are fabulous. That's $25. I'll have tickets at the street fair, both street fair, Allen Park and Melvindale, or you can pick them up at our police station. I'll try and have some in records, or I'm working at night. And then also, that's August 27th, and then September 17th at Lowe's, what we're doing is we're going to do a car show. The DDA has a fantastic car show. We wanted to maybe steal half of those people, have them come to ours. But we wanted to do something for the north end businesses, so it's going to be at the Lowe's parking lot on September 17th. And we have 8 different classes of vehicles, and we're going to be giving out first, second, and third place trophies with that. So that's only $15 to register, or 20 of the day of the show. So we're just hoping we can get the people out and have a good community event. And lastly, we had a couple of different businesses from Melvindale that have donated towards this. We have an account set up for us. So if anybody wants to send in checks, send them to City of Allen Park, and then in the CERT memo, Allen Park, Melvindale CERT, we'll get them put in there. So I'll be working all night if anybody wants to stop over and see me.
You said 8:27, where's that going to
At the
take?
corner bar in Allen Park.
Oh, I'm
Allen
sorry,
and-
okay.
What
Philly?
time?
White? Philly? White, Allen White, yep. And then the other one will be at the parking lot of Lowe's. So Baker College opened up an invitation for us to have it there, but with the bathrooms and restaurants and things like that, Lowe's actually seemed like a better location. So we appreciate all that Baker College does for us, but we went with that. So, all right, thank you.
What time did those start?
6 o'clock for the for the Totally Awesome 80s at the corner bar, and then the car show is going to be an all day. It's going to be 7 a.m. till 3. They like to get there early, and we'll have some police there. So not that anybody that has a classic car will leave it to go eat at Johnny Carino's or one of the other restaurants, but we'll have people there. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See no one else coming forward, so we'll go forward with the agenda. And now we will take the 2 items under the consent agenda, a motion for payment of claims and accounts in the payroll report.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Templin.
Support.
Supported by Councilman Cisco. Is there any discussion?
I have a question, please. It's going to be on page 2, talking about the computer fix and break. That in the previous administration I was on, there was always computer fixes being done, and it seems like these are starting to add up. And one of them was, say, the 10,000, another one for 1,040 under administration, I believe it is. Or, well, this one's under police department.
Yeah, if I may,
Computer break fix.
Yeah, Councilman, Bob and I are working on that, actually. We're well aware there's some issues there with the charging from SMEA, and we're looking at a few different proposals. If you recall, we did put some money in the budget to try to hire somebody, but we think there might be another option out there as well.
Okay.
So,
I just don't want that cost to start creeping up again. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing now, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. Resolution to authorize the City of Allen Park to participate in the Great Lakes Water Authority's Suburban Water Residential Assistance Program through March 17, 2017, or until they run out of money, whichever occurs first. Can I have a motion to that effect?
Motion.
Moved by Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilman Cisco. The city administrator just kind of want to explain to the citizens what this is.
yeah, the Great Lakes Water Authority is the old Detroit Water and Sewer Department. That was changed over to GLWA and gave some control back to the suburban communities. And one of the programs that they started is a program to help the residents of Detroit, and then they also have a mechanism to help the suburban customers, which we are part of, and that is the Water Residential Assistance Program, or WRAP. It is eligible for eligible residents, and they can apply for assistance with their water bills. The WRAP program provides up to $1,000 per household per year through 2 payment options. The first provides a resident with monthly installments of $25 a month for 12 months. And that's the $300, and the second provides $700 in arrearage assistance, $350 at the 6-month mark point, and $350 at the 12-month point. They also have to maintain their maintenance of their billing so they can't continue to be getting in arrears. They have to keep maintaining their current bill. They'll also give them up to $1,000 to help fix minor plumbing issues within the house that are leading to these high water usage. And that could mean, changing faucets, fixtures, toilets. If you've got, some of the houses may still have the old 7-gallon flush. They'll be able to go in and replace that and put in a 1.5 to 2 gallon flush, which will help tremendously. Maybe it's a flap that's not closing properly, which is allowing the water to run. All the different scenarios that we usually run across. They've set aside a total of $4.5 million for the program, but that is also for Detroit, also for the suburban communities. I believe the Wayne County portion was $1 million, and the program is actually being administered through Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency out of Wyandotte. I think they actually have a Detroit office that's listed here, but if you're familiar with them, Wayne Metro is over on in front of the court in Wyandotte Police Department there at the hospital at what is that? I guess Biddle and North Line, Ford Line.
Something like that.
So we're just asking for permission or authorization for the city to participate in the Great Lakes Water Authority's Suburban Water Residential Assistance Program through March 31st, 2017. I did put a note there if the council wanted to consider a longer time, when GLWA funds no longer funds the RAP program, or the 31st of 17, whichever is later. It looks like they're looking to do this for multiple years, but we can bring it back again when this expires. I don't have a problem bringing it back in next spring to do it again if it's been successful.
Any questions by council? Just for information, when I was looking at eligibility guidelines, the income eligibility says 150% below the federal poverty line. Is that correct? And the federal poverty line is for a family of four, $29,000?
Yeah, so a household income, the members that would qualify, you cannot have income exceeding these numbers. For a single, $17,805. 2 persons, just a little over $24,000. 3 persons, $30,240, and a four-person family household, $36,450. It goes up incrementally about $6,000 or so per house member. Up to 8 members is $61,335.
If there are no other questions, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
We didn't make 6:30, but we're at other business. Council have any comments they wish to make?
I'll start.
Go ahead.
Councilman O'Rourke?
I don't know if you'll talk about it, but, the unity walk of thanking the individuals that participated. Obviously, the rain and storm kind of took away part of the walking part of it, but the going over to Cabrini and the air conditioning and the food and the presentation and the people talking and just the camaraderie of the people that were there, it was fun. And police and fire and the CERT team and everybody that was there supporting that, and Parks and Recreation. And all the food, so I don't know if you'll talk about the sponsors, but thanking them as well. And then also on Saturday, maybe next year I'll go into Dunk Tank, I guess, but they had the autism picnic right there in front of McNally's there, and it was really nice. I mean, I was pretty impressed. We had it set up with the games, and when I was there was a couple of the policemen in the Dunk Tank, and the kids loved that. So just everybody that was involved in that, it was a very nice program for them and the kids. So I just wanted to thank those people that put that on.
Hello. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gavrecki.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out tonight. Just remind everybody, the street fair is coming up. Plan on being out there August 5th and 6th. Again, as Charles stated, vote on August 2nd. Senior Olympics kicked off yesterday, so I just want to wish all the residents that are participating good luck. And for a point of clarification on tonight's agenda, nothing against you, Kevin, but when we got to the consent agenda, there was a question that was brought up tonight. Going forward, I don't know how are we going to proceed with that, because normally that's pulled out. It wasn't tonight, and it was discussed. So I just like a clarification on how we'll handle that going forward. So thank you for coming tonight.
Comments down this way?
Go ahead, Gil.
Mayor Pro Tem McLeod.
I'm glad Ray McGusson mentioned the Boca Bella build because last week when I was commenting on people, I'd seen there, my peripheral vision went, and there were two members sitting at this podium that were also assisting, one was Maureen, and the other was Larry, and I wanted to give them their kudos on that. Again, we're all very saddened by the very tragic passing of the Kings. And it crossed my mind as I was getting ready to come here that on occasion I think we all need to kind of step back and just think about things in our lives for which we can be thankful, and think about all the family and friends that we may have who are struggling with illnesses, disease, or tragedies. I know that they all need to be in our thoughts and prayers, and maybe if you just say one tonight for those you know and those you don't know. I know the Richards family is still encountering difficulties within their family members. It just seems to be a never-ending saga. So find something to be thankful for and say a prayers for those who are struggling, and thank you.
Councilman Cisco.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that I hope that Councilman DiGiulio is going to be okay. My good friend Angelo, I hope everything is okay with him and he's back in his chair soon. Kind of miss him today. And, you know, when I bring things up and ask the administrator certain things, these are things that I think, you know, from my perspective as an elected official are important. And Mark, I did try to call you last week, by the way. I did not receive a phone call back. As you had mentioned that if I would have called, I did. So, you know, we have a lot of things that we need to work on. Allen Park is still a great city. We just need to keep it at that level. You know, and one of the things that we look at going forward is a new police department, new city hall. And I think it's very important that we look at how today is and how we see everything in the news and all the bad things that are happening around us. And who is there for us in Allen Park to protect us? That's our police and our fire. But when it comes down to using weapons of any kinds, it's our police department. So I think as we go forward with the police department, we really need to give our police department all the tools they need to be effective and well-trained. And the well-trained part has to come into this. You know, you just read about, I think it was in Florida, where there was an autistic person that a counselor was trying to help, and they shot the wrong person, basically, while they were both on the ground. Now, I don't know why that happened, but I'm sure the lawyers or whatever are gonna look at it, and they're gonna look at their training records and see how much they trained and how much they shoot their guns. You know, shooting your gun on a regular basis is very important. And I think anybody that handles gun and is an expert at a gun will tell you that it has to be constant training in that field. So we need to look beyond, you know, as we build a police department, city hall, and we're talking about a building 50, 60, 70 years is going to be up. And we need to look beyond some things. We need to be able to foresee some things. We need to be able to go forward and make sure Allen Park's a safe place, as it always has been, but to continue to be safe. So, and I express that because I think it is important. And I think one of the reasons why I got elected is because I am that person from Allen Park that wants us to stay at a certain level. And part of that is with our police department and our fire department. And that's where we need to be. And I won't back away from those positions. So I thank everybody for coming out tonight. Thank you.
I'm good. Just a few comments. Want to thank everyone for coming out. Please remember to vote next Tuesday. And then on August 5th and 6th, the Allen Park Street Fair will be here. It will be from about 10 to 9 with the Roosevelt stage, I think, having music later than 9 on Friday and Saturday. But there will be music at both stages from the afternoon and up until 9 o'clock. So hope you'll find some time to come out and see the vendors and enjoy the food in the evening and meet your neighbors. I do want to thank all the people at the Unity Walk, and I guess the one thing that you really learn is the whole purpose of that walk is to show the togetherness and the community of Allen Park. And we started out in the morning. I was having breakfast at 8 o'clock, and my wife says, "It's going to be pretty hot today. What do you think?" So I said, "Yeah, you're right." And looked at the weather, and it was going to be 75% humidity and a heat index of over 100. So I called our public health officer, and I said, "Where are you?" He says, "In Bel Air. It's too damn hot to be down there in Allen Park today." And I said, "Well, what do you think about the community walk?" He says, "I think you better call it off." And so I said, well, that's one person agreeing with what I was thinking. But I also called the county's community health officer, Dr. Ponte, and she agreed. Both of them had to explain to me the 3 ways that we evaporate and get rid of our heat. So I'm pretty familiar with that, and I won't go into it tonight. But they said none of them will work. So we changed that. So to call the church, we moved things up a half hour because there was no walk. Called both churches. And then we had an 11 o'clock meeting of the department heads that were involved in that, made the changes necessary for that. And then by 4 o'clock, the weather got really bad, and by 5 o'clock, raining pretty hard. So none of the electronics equipment that Mr. Bodell graciously provides free as a service to this former councilman, he couldn't be outside, so he went inside. I talked again to the new pastor at Cabrini, and he said, everybody's fine. They've got the whole place set up inside so we could go inside. The food was there. The other hot dogs that had to be grilled outside were moved into an overhang area, and everybody just came together, got everything done, and we had that continue. The problem was trying to announce, or last minute, I'm sure people drove by and didn't see anybody sitting out at the picnic tables that were outside and thought, oh, the event didn't go on. And it did go on, and we had, I think, about 100 people as I counted, which was less than we'd hoped for, but given the fact that we had to cancel the walk and then we had to go inside so nobody could see us if they drove by, I thought the event was still worthwhile, and the people that were there enjoyed themselves. So I do want to thank the people at Cabrini, their maintenance people, the ladies who prepared the desserts, and Father for making certain all the changes we kept making all day. It sounds like it's easy, but they must have had 25 or 30 people involved. And they're all volunteers, and you're asking them to change, you know. And then we had to, search was coming out. Then we said to search, well, you know, be over there and help us there. And then we said, well, that's not going to work because we're not going to be outside. They're not going to stand in the rain. They were there. They came inside. So all of the people that work in the city were very cooperative and made the changes necessary so that we could do the event safely and enjoy ourselves. And I think we did. So it did prove that we did come together as a community. And I would mention Baker College provided the hot dogs, condiments, paper goods, Vicky and Chris Richards of Little Caesars, the two Little Caesars franchises in town. Mayor Richards' son and daughter-in-law provided the pizzas, and the Chapatwala, who owns they own a number of McDonald's, but the one in Allen Park that they own is on Southfield, right there past the little shopping center off of Park and Allen. And they provided orange drink, and water was provided from Meyer. And so there were a lot of people that provided a number of items for the people to enjoy as contributions. And so if you see them and you were there that night, thank them for their contributions. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilwoman Gavarecki. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 7:52, we are adjourned. 6:52. Or 6:52.
6:51.